your world champions of under 29 are Meg and William Martin from Australia.
Talk about what happened afterwards. All that matters is the ski and the sled push. We'll be running training camps.
Yeah. So we're going to link up when we get back and put in a proper block for Australia.
Super proud of these guys. So happy to call them friends.
Thanks,
world
mate.
champions.
So stoked.
A little bit tired.
I mean, I was feeling sick beforehand. Now I feel like I've actually been hit by a bus. But it feels pretty damn good.
Yeah,
We are world champs.
World champs.
But for us, it feels like just the beginning. We're actually just talking about how, whilst we're so stoked to be world champions, we know we have so much more in the tank in terms of our performance. And I think that's how you know you're doing the right sport, because even when you win, it's not the pinnacle of your enjoyment. Like, the pinnacle of your enjoyment is being really stoked with your performance. And we just, one, knew we had more in the tank, and two, obviously I was sick coming into it, so it was a bit of a challenge. But yeah, we're just excited because now we get to go back to Oz and race in Oz for the next 4 months. So yeah.
So first question, Hyrox is done. How do you feel right now?
Sick.
Sick?
That's right.
Oh, so I thought you were going to go through the questions. Okay. It's been interesting.
I think we have, being completely honest, we were talking about this together. We have mixed feeling. Because we were sick, we had like a head cold. We didn't, you know how sometimes when you're sick you just don't feel like you're fully there? It's like you're a bit not conscious of where you are. And so when we actually raced, we just don't feel like we loved the race, if that makes sense. As in, it's like if you do a dance routine and you don't do your best routine but you still win. That's kind of how we feel. As in, we feel like we've definitely got a lot more in the tank, and we definitely gave the best that we could on the day, but we definitely feel like we've got a whole lot more in the tank. So we're so stoked to be world champs. I mean, we feel like we got spoiled by being world champs. I guess that's what it's about, is holding yourself to your own standard, and for us we feel like we've got more, so we'll be happy when we feel like we've given it our all, whatever that is. So yeah, we're so stoked to be world champs. It was so much fun. We loved the comp, but actually racing, because we just felt quite crap, not as fun as I would say our Melbourne comp was. I feel like I loved the Melbourne comp because we felt amazing, and it was so cool because we knew everyone there in Australia too.
What lessons have you learned from that race?
That's a great question. I mean, it was things we already knew coming into it that just got confirmed more for me. I don't think I learned anything new from the race. It was more so that people don't have a game plan. And so they'll try and get to the front, they'll try and hero it off for the first lap, and Meg and I we had such a clear game plan of, does not matter how fast everyone goes, we're just going to run our paces.
Yeah, so in Hyrox what normally happens, because people are still learning how to actually race Hyrox, is everyone wants to just go balls to the wall for the first 2 exercises, and then they're just completely burnt out for the rest of the workout. As in, the workout is over 50 minutes long, 50 minutes minimum. You cannot go 100% for the first 2 exercises. You'll just completely fall apart, and that's what happens to most people, is they'll fall apart and sometimes claw their way back. But if you actually just go out consistent, and what I was saying to Will the whole time when we were racing is I just said, let them go, it's a long race, because people ran out in front of us, and obviously we want to be at the front, but I just knew within a couple of exercises people were just going to be absolutely kaput. But I think what I learned is that I can compete when everything feels like it's going wrong.
Yeah.
As in, not only did I have the flu, but I also was due for my period on the day of the race, and I got it 2 days earlier, which was lucky. But I just felt like everything's going wrong. How am I going to do my best at a competition, given that I just felt so bad? And there was a point in the race that I actually thought about stopping, which for me tells me how bad I feel. I think it was maybe after the row, or after burpees before the row. because I remember thinking we're halfway, and I looked at my watch and my heart rate was 200.
200.
I mean, your heart, it could have been wrong, it's just a watch, but it felt like it was 200 as well, as in my head was pulsing. And I just thought, I think I actually am going to pass out. But I thought, and that's what made me think, oh, maybe I should stop. But then I thought, I'm not stopping voluntarily. I'll stop if I pass out, someone can just pull me off, and then I'll stop. As much as I would have loved to not be feeling the way that I was feeling, it was a good reminder that even if that happens, that you can still push through and dig deep and ultimately get a good outcome. So,
Were there any specific moments in the race that stood out to you?
Yeah, definitely. When we, I was actually speaking it this morning. There was a crew that the couple that came second. They went out quite hard on the run, and they were in front of us after the ski erg. And then
we took our skier quite comfortably.
Yeah. Then when we passed them on the second run, I remember that so clearly. It was just we passed them, and then that was it for the whole race. No one passed us after that.
You knew?
Oh yeah, and then I did a fair bit more. Not a fair bit more. I did a bit more than what we had planned to do because Meg just wasn't feeling great. And then when I was on the road, Meg was just in my ear just saying the nicest stuff. As in, when we get in the race, we don't hype each other up or be like, let's fucking go. It's more, she was in my ear, she's like, I love you, you're doing so well, like we're killing this. And that's the sort of stuff that we say when we're racing. So,
what are the next steps for you after this competition?
man, more training, running, compromise. That's going to be our biggest one for sure. As in just, we did a lot of running and then we did a lot of exercises and strength, but they were mostly split up. Whereas our training specifics when we get back is going to be a lot of exercise, no rest, straight to running, no rest, straight back to exercise.
I think we really need to work, build another whole new, go through like a whole nother training block of build strength, really hectic, because we both have some muscle that we can be putting on.
What advice would you give to someone wanting to start participating in Hyrox competition?
So go online,
go
to mega.life and buy the Hyrox program.
M3GA.
I feel like that actually is the advice we give, because the whole program lays and you could sit there for an hour on the phone and run someone through it or give them a bunch of videos. It's going to help but not help that much. So we will preach this as much as we possibly can. The program is structured there to show people all the tips and tricks and insights to how the race works. And it's going to give you a structured program over 12 weeks to actually be race ready, because it is a complicated race.
And it's hard.
It's freaking hard. It's hard. As in people who are running marathons and things like that have signed up to Hyrox thinking it's going to be like a marathon. As in, it's so much harder.
It's not like that. Well, it's hard to do fast.
As in a marathon, you're not sitting at max heart rate for the whole marathon. You build up and get into it. Whereas this thing, after 500 meters of running, is just boom. You're zone 5 for the whole event. So yeah. If you want to do it properly, get a program, because it's not like it's running and then it's strength and then it's combining them together and then it's working your alactic system and then it's technique. So there's 4 moving components that all work together. And if you can get them all right, then you can get some really quick times.
How do you plan to rest and recover after these efforts?
We did not recover well yesterday. We
were so excited to talk to other people, because before we hadn't gone to any of the comp because I was literally in bed.
So we were catching up with everyone after the event, and then we did about 5 minutes on the bike, warm down.
So we're sore, that's what we were saying.
So, but now it's stretching.
I think we're going to chill until, because obviously we're still getting our bodies back to 100%, we still feel sick. So I think we'll rest today, and I think we'll go for a shakeout jog tomorrow, and then we fly home. And then I'd say we'll give ourselves a day once we get back to Brisbane, because we've just been on a 24-hour flight, and then we'll start easing back into training.
Last 3 questions. What do you enjoy the most about participating in Hyrox competitions?
Oh man, just competing. Being in the environment.
I was going to say pushing ourselves, as in being, it makes you hurt so much, as in it hurts the whole time. And if it doesn't hurt the whole time, you're not going hard enough. We actually care about it. As in, it's not like we go and do a long distance ultra race and, you just do 20 hours and
what does that even mean?
Ultras, we don't necessarily love running. We like the mental challenge that comes
Of
with
the
running
race, yeah.
100Ks. But then the actual active Hyrox we really love, as in we
All the
love
training,
the
everything.
sprint 1Ks and the ergs and the bodyweight training. Like, we love that. We enjoyed the whole process of training for Hyrox.
Yeah, there's not one element that we don't like.
And then getting to compete is so fun. As in, we haven't competed in ages.
Yeah.
I love competing. I got a problem.
But then you meet Meg, right? Meg just seems like this nice, bubbly girl. When competition's on, just this
You can see on her face. I had some pictures of you like
yeah, man.
in
It's
another
like,
world.
get out of my way. I will actually cut
It's
you.
embarrassing, but I
It's
can't
not embarrassing, dude.
help
It's the
myself.
best. It gets me fired
Just
up.
don't take it personally if you're competing against me. You put yourself in that situation.
How does your entourage support you in your competitions?
That's a good question.
That's a really-
Man, we had so many messages. As in, way more messages. I didn't have an expectation around it, but there were just hundreds and hundreds of messages. And we've got a crew that run all the mega runs, and they're called Hyperlords. They're the leaders of the run locations. And the chat was just going nuts. They were just screenshotting all the times as every split went through, and everyone was just chatting. And obviously we were racing, but then to come back later that night, because we didn't look at our phones afterwards, we only called Meg's parents and called Ian and called my uncle and auntie. But other than that, we didn't look at our phones. So to go back and have all the messages and the support from home was massive. And then people that we haven't seen in years just shooting out messages, being like, yo, saw your race, I was so sick.
You got a funny one. They said, yo man, don't even know what this is, but congrats.
Like, people not even knowing what Hyrox is and seeing that it's a world championships and saying congrats, that was funny. But yeah, the support from the crew is huge.
I think this is hilarious that we should share. So because Grace, my older sister, and I are both world champions of sports aerobics 10 years ago, but my dad will still lead with that whenever he meets someone new, that he has two daughters that are world champions. And so I think it's funny because now that Will's a world champion, Dad said now he can officially be part of the family because it's a world champ family.
I was just placeholding there for a little
I
bit.
thought it was very funny. He's finally earned his position as part of the fam.
Why are you not picked up on the Australian team?
For the Australian relay?
For the Australian relay?
Yeah. Man,
Not really sure.
how it worked was that the fastest person from each country, I think how it worked, got told by Hyrox, we're going to have a mixed relay from each country, and they got to pick their teams.
What motivates you to keep training and participating in these events?
It always comes back to the same thing. It's just the one answer is always consistent. We just want to push our limits. There are so many limits to be pushed in this sport, and we want to push our limits in the gym and with running. So it just suits us to a T. But we want to see what we can do as a couple, and then we want to see what we can do individually. But there's no bounds to what someone can do at the time in this event. So,
But also I think we've just found something that we love, and this is what we want people to do. Is obviously it started with running, because when you push yourself in running, you realize, okay, I actually don't have to listen to that voice of self-doubt, and I am capable of more. And that's why we started running. But that's opened our mind to the fact that you don't have to listen to the worldly voice that says, like, live the safe job, you know, you shouldn't pursue your passions, that's risky, things like that. As in, we love Hyrox and we are loving our life, and we're not safe by the world standards, I would say, but we are the happiest we've ever been. And so what we'd like to, and the message we'd like to share, is that you are capable of anything you put your mind to. One, if you believe that you can, and two, you're willing to put in the work. And that it is so worth it if you love what you're doing. As in, this is what we're meant to be doing. We freaking love the training, we love the journey, we love the competition, we love each other. That's how you should feel about what you're doing. And if it's not Hyrox, it'll be something else. But like, keep going, because it feels so good to be doing what you love.
yeah, it's a mic drop. That's us, that's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Let's bring on the 24-25 season.
Let's go.
And that's that, France, what a wrap.
We are out. Back to Oz. I'm actually so pumped because we've got so many comps coming up. So ready to get back to Oz, back to training. Let's go.
Yeah, it's been such an epic time here in France. Stayed at an epic little apartment. the main town's up there, so we're actually a bit out of the action, which was nice. Yeah. Go and help world champs. It's a pretty epic feeling. Close them up, Muddy. Let's jump in this plane. Let's head home.
Let's go.